Coming up on the Suze Orman Show. We're here in the holiday spirit at the Suze Orman Show. But before you go out and shop to buy things for your friends and families, I have a message for you. Also, what really got me as I was reading your paperwork is that even though you know you're in credit card debt, when somebody comes to you today, Dennis, today, and they say to you, Dennis, I need to borrow money, you go, here you go. And you ask me, can I afford it?
I want to buy a new living room furniture set. We just moved into our new house, and we want it to look nice, and we want to invite friends over.
I knew it. Hi, everybody. I'm Suze Orman, and you are watching the Suze Orman Show. Anything look different on this set to you? Well, it should. It is December 1st. We are already getting in the holiday spirit here on the Suze Orman Show. Just a few days ago, the tree lighting ceremony was held at Rockefeller Center. I love this time of year in New York. So here we are, the month of December. This is the month when we start thinking, oh, what can we get those that we love for Hanukkah, for Christmas, for the holidays? How do we spend money to show people what we really think about them? I understand very, very well that you want people to feel like you love them. But what happens when you give somebody a gift? I want you to think about this seriously. You give somebody a gift, or they know you're going to give them a gift, and they feel like they need to give you a gift back. Now, it is just possible that both of you have credit card debt, you don't have an 8-month emergency fund, you're not funding your retirement, you don't know how you're going to make your bills yet. You're both going to give each other gifts because that's what you do for family members. No, you don't. You know, over the years of the Suze Orman Show, I've talked to you about the 8 qualities of wealth. And one of those qualities, one of those very vital qualities, is a quality known as generosity. And I know that you think you're being generous to your family members when you give them something that you think they want. But that isn't being generous. Because when you, as I just said, give to somebody, they feel they need to give to you. True generosity is when you give somebody a gift, and not only is it a gift for them, but it is a gift to yourself as well. If you are in debt, if you don't have money, that's not a gift to you. That's a burden to you. And then you're giving them a gift and it becomes a burden to them because they have to give back to you. And all of us are spending this entire month giving things to people that we can't afford. We're putting it on our credit cards. We're paying the minimum payment due. By the time we pay it off, we've paid 3 times for something. Are you kidding me? This should be the month where you want to give a priceless gift. You want to give something that all the money in the world can never buy. You want to give honesty. You want to give the truth. You want to give a letter to somebody where you take time to write how you feel about them. They'll keep that forever. Really? Are they going to be using this thing that you got them 5 years from now? I don't think so. So let's make this a month that really we're generous in nature, generous in spirit, generous in honesty, and generous to each other. Before these days go and we start to feel guilty, right now, tomorrow, on Sunday, sit down with your family members and say, let's talk about the holidays, and let's all commit to not spending money we don't have. Let's make a plan so none of us have to feel guilty, so this can be a great holiday season for you and for all those you love. Let's go to Virginia. Alyssa, you are on the Suze Orman Show.
Hi, Susie. I'm a big fan.
Thank you, kind lady. What can I do for you tonight?
Well, I have a younger sister. She's about 13 years my younger. She's 30 years old, and she's getting married for the second time. She's racked up a bit of debt through her 20s and seems to enjoy a lifestyle that not even my 40-something peers enjoy. And she's getting married for the second time. Her fiance also seems to have exquisite taste, and I'm sort of concerned for their...
Do I kind of sense a little bit of judgment here coming from you? Like, is there something about your little sister that really just aggravates you?
I'd like to call it concern.
All right, I was going to say, just tell me how you really feel about this so-called wedding that's going to happen by two totally financial wrecks. So what's your question?
Well, my question is, instead of getting them something, another material thing for their wedding gift because they don't need a thing, is to get them a series of premarital financial counseling sessions so that they can really talk the hard talk about their values and where they want to go together as a couple financially.
How do you think they're going to accept that as a gift?
I don't know, but I'm the big sister. I'm allowed to do that, right?
You're allowed to do that, but I'm not sure, to tell you the truth, that your money would be put to good use, because just because you're giving them premarital counseling sessions does not mean that they're going to go to them, especially if they don't think they need to. I mean, some of the people I know that need therapy the most think they don't need anything. Does she get how screwed up she is and that she needs counseling with her husband-to-be? Does she get that, yes or no?
I don't know if she knows that or not.
Yes, you do. Does she get it? Yes or no? Because if she got it, she wouldn't still be doing it. So I have to tell you, bottom line here, I think it's a great idea. Do I think it's a gift that's going to go to waste? I most certainly do. Let's go to Lacey in Texas. Girlfriend, late on the line for me tonight.
Hi, how are you, Susie?
I have to tell you, I'm feisty, I'm fabulous, and I can't think of the third thing, so I'll just answer your question for you. Okay, ask.
Okay, my parents feel that since I'm their only living child, they do not have to prepare a will. My only sibling passed away very young, years ago in 1992.
But I have to say this. When you said you're their only living child, I thought that's a strange way to refer to yourself. And they lost a child. So, all right, so they lost a child in what year?
In 1992.
All right,
Okay, and she was very, very young. And they said everything, of course, will be left to me. Is it okay for them to not prepare a will, or should they prepare a will, as a formality?
They not only should they have a will, but they should have also what's known as a living revocable trust. Not so much to just pass everything to you out of probate, which it would do, but to also protect them. Because here's what happens, Lacey, and you tell your mother this, which is, women live longer than men, so chances are your father is going to die before your mom. Okay, now your mom is all by herself. Now she's getting older, and now she becomes incapacitated. She gets sick. She has a stroke. Who knows what can happen to her? Who is going to pay her bills for her, Lacey? Who is going to write checks for her? Now, you may think it's going to be you, but a will doesn't do that. They don't even have a will. They need, really, and you should have this for yourself, by the way, as well, a living revocable trust with an incapacity clause in it. I've been saying this on the Suze Orman Show over and over again, to protect them while they're alive and to pass everything to you free of probate. Otherwise, you're going to lose thousands of dollars. Tell them to wake up and smell the money. Let's go to Jody in Maryland now. Jody, you have a question for me, I bet.
I do. How are you doing, Susie?
I'm great tonight. Thank you so much, Jody. What can I do for you?
Okay. Here's my little story. I'm 43 years old. I've racked up a good amount of debt in my life.
How much? Say it,
let's
Jody.
go
Say
with
it.
about 50.
50. All right.
50,000.
All right. You got it.
Okay. And the good news is I've also been saving, so I have over $130,000 in my 401k. Okay, and I have come to the realization now that I'm ready to get out of debt. I'm ready to change my lifestyle. And
you want to take a loan from your 401k to pay off your $50,000 in debt so that you could be okay. That's what you want to ask me, right?
I don't want to take a loan. No,
what do you want to do?
Pull it out.
No, you are.
I want to pull it out.
Jody, that's even worse. That is even worse than taking out a loan. If you take $130,000, you have $130,000 in your 401k. How much do you make per year?
About 120,000.
All right, 120,000. That puts you probably in one of the highest tax brackets out there. So you're going to have to take out, let's say, $100,000 from your 401k, or even more than that, after penalties and taxes, to pay off $50,000 of credit card debt. When you, girlfriend, are making $100,000 a year, and you don't have what it takes to simply take $2,000 or $3,000 a month, and in a year and a half be out of credit card debt, you haven't changed your ways. You're doing something that's about to be stupid. Don't you dare do that. Can you get smart with the money that you're making and take that money and pay off your debt and just leave your 401k alone? You got that? What was she thinking, Amy? I was about to yell at her for simply wanting to take a loan out. But no, she wants to pay off $50,000 of debt. She wants to waste $60,000. Oh, that is just brilliant when she's making $100,000 a year. Are you kidding me? No, really, Amy, I'm not joking here.
I know.
I'm just telling you.
I know.
So brilliant. So while you're lending $300 here and $200 there, that's your student loan payment, which is why you now have amassed almost 50% more in student loan debt than you started with. And later, when wanting something, ask me, can I afford it?
I want to buy a vintage Chevrolet Chevelle and a garage for her to live in.
I kind of think it's great that a woman wants to buy a vintage car and the husband is saying, really? A little feisty today. So what would I have been, Amy? I would have been feisty, fabulous, and what? What's the other F? Funky. Did Amy just call me funky? Are you kidding me, Amy?
Maybe she meant in the musical sense.
In the musical
Cool,
sense.
funky.
Cool, funky. I'm a funky financial broad. Welcome back, everybody. It's time to stop pretending everything is okay and start digging out of debt. That is the goal of my one-on-one tonight. Dennis is 37 and single. He's an associate director of programming at a state university. Dennis owes more than $13,000 in credit card debt and owes $5,000 to a credit union. He now has, however, $90,000 of student loan debt that he can't put off anymore. He's been putting it off for years, and it has grown and grown and grown. But here's the clincher. Nobody knows the troubles he's in, including his family. So, Dennis, here we are. You've come on the Suze Orman Show. Can you tell everybody why you came on the show and how you think you got yourself in the position you're in?
I think I got myself in this position because I've, just been trying to live the idea of what everybody perceived of me. So I went to a school out of state, really couldn't afford to go. My parents paid for the first year, but after that, I was stuck paying the bill myself. Had, nicer things in my apartment. I recently bought a house, and I started redoing the house, and so I wanted people to, think that I had, it all together, and, and being, at the time, I think I was 35 when I bought the house, or 34, and I did a lot of remodeling to it just so I can have it look a certain way.
All right, so let's stop there for a second. Why do you think that it is so important to you that other people see you for what you're not versus what you are?
I'm really not sure. I just wanted people to, that whatever perception that people might have had to begin with, I wanted to keep that perception going, I guess.
Why? What is wrong with who you are? What is wrong that you're a man that has credit card debt? What is wrong with you being a man that can't lend people money when they come to you? What really got me as I was reading your paperwork is that even though you know you're in credit card debt, even though your student loans are in forbearance, and they've gone from $60,000 to $90,000, that when somebody comes to you today, Dennis, today, and they say to you, Dennis, I need to borrow money, you go, here you go. So you are continuing this illusion that you are somebody different than who you are. Why do you think you're less than somebody who needs to borrow money from you?
I don't know. I don't perceive myself as feeling like I'm less than, but I know that there's part of me that just wants to help people feel happy or help when I can, or, be helpful when I can be helpful.
And what about you? Do you not matter? You're
I do.
37 years old. You're almost 40 years old. That's almost 50% of your lifetime you have lived, and you have $300. In fact, you don't have anything to show for it because you have $90,000 of student loan debt that before you know it will be $180,000. And you're going to be one of these people that they garnish the Social Security checks and anything that you ever have because they have the legal authority to do so. So while you're lending $300 here and $200 there, that's your student loan payment, which is why you now have amassed almost 50% more in student loan debt than you started with. And you want to make other people happy, Dennis? Really? Really? Silence. The truth is spoken in silence because there are no words to justify irrational actions. All right, Dennis, you are now in a situation sitting here at the Suze Orman Show where many, many people are watching. Your family members hopefully will watch because you will ask them to do so. And you need to tell your friends, those who know you, especially your father and your siblings, the truth about you.
Well, I'm not as, well off as you think I am. I have a lot of debt, and I'm really needing to get this, figured out and get this worked out. I can't, live in this, the lie or the facade anymore and carry on as if I have the money. I don't want to live like that anymore.
So, Dennis, was that hard for you to do that?
It was, and I know I didn't get as deep as I probably could have. But
so if you could have gone deeper, what would you have said?
Just thinking about, just all the different things that I've done, like to give that, the perception that I'm okay. I used to take out payday loans, and I had a roommate at the time. Why am I taking out a payday loan and I have a roommate? So, it's just, those thoughts go through my head in the times that we had potlucks at work, and it'd be a time where I didn't have the money, and I would kind of complain about having to go through these potlucks because you have to cook food for 10 people, and when you're doing it, that costs money, and I may not have had the money to do that. Or the times where I'm at the gas station, I'm like, I can only put $10 in, and if I run out of gas, I can't get to work. But luckily, there's public transportation.
Dennis, I have to tell you, I think you've come a long way in a very short period of time with this small segment on the Suze Orman Show. Very quickly, your financial action plan, which is also what you came here for. My biggest problem here is you have $90,000 of student loan debt that's been in forbearance. You haven't been making payments on it. And according to your own paperwork, that if you were to start to repay it, it would be approximately $500 per month right now. But you don't know where you can get that $500 per month. I'm telling you where you can get it. You're going to refinance your home. By refinancing your home, you're going to cut your mortgage payment by $200 a month. You're going to stop eating out, which is going to save you $100. You're going to stop drinking. You don't need the calories and alcohol anyway, which is $50. And I know you're part of a bowling league, but we can't afford to bowl right now to the tune of $173 a month. If we cut all of that out, you now are at the $500 a month that you need to get your student loan back where you are paying it every month. If you do that, you're going to start to feel better. At the same time, when you start to feel better, you're going to have more power and more money will come in. Also, you should see a debt management service for your $13,000 of credit cards so you can get the high interest rates dismissed, and they put you on a plan where you can pay them monthly and you'll save money there as well. If you do those two things, You'll be fine financially speaking over the long haul. But the most important thing that you need to do, my dear Dennis, is from this moment forward, you need to stand, you need to sit, you need to speak, you need to sleep in the truth of who you are. Do you hear me, sir?
Yes, Susie.
Up next, you can't afford to miss. Can I afford it?
Sounds crazy. We'd like to leave our jobs, take a gap year, throw on a couple backpacks, and travel the world.
Will you be able to come back to the jobs that you currently have?
I don't think so.
Also,
I would like to purchase 2 VIP tickets to Austin City Limits for $2,100. Our savings is $21,000 in liquid, $12,000 investments, and $67,000 in retirement.
so what do you want to buy?
Vintage Chevrolet Chevelle.
Travel the world.
New living room furniture set.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Can I Afford It segment on the Suze Orman Show. This is where you call in, you tell me what it is you want to buy, and I either approve or deny you again. We are in December now, December 1st. See if the holiday spirit moves me to approve you more than I normally would. Kathy, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. Thanks for talking with me.
Anytime, what do you want to buy?
I want to buy a vintage Chevrolet Chevelle and a garage for her to live in.
Why do you want to do that? $35,000, number one, for a vintage car, $20,000 to house the car. Why?
Well, it is a beautiful old school muscle car that I've just admired forever. And I understand that you are wearing a very fine outfit that would look particularly awesome in that sweet ride. And while my husband likes the idea of the car, he doesn't love it like I do. And every time I go to a car show or look it up at the dealers, he says, would Susie say you can afford that?
Well,
So
girlfriend, let's try right now. I kind of think it's great that a woman wants to buy a vintage car and the husband is saying, really? Because normally it's the other way around, and I'm always go, what is wrong with those men? But we'll see what I think here. All right, show me the money.
Okay. Our combined income is $9,690 a month.
Good.
Our expenses are $5,694.
Great.
Of that, we also have regular contributions of about $1,800 to retirement.
Yeah.
We own our home outright and have no debt. We have savings of $83,000 in liquid, $71,000 in investments, and $551,000 in retirement.
And how are you going to pay for this $55,000 expense?
We were planning cash for the garage.
So that brings us down to $53,000 or $63,000.
63,
yeah.
right. 20% down for the car. That would be about $7,000.
And finance the rest,
Correct.
right?
Correct.
Yeah, this is easy. You've worked hard for this, and I just love that it's a woman who wants to do it. So obviously you are denied.
Oh, nuts.
Nuts. And here is the reason. You are 47. You do not have enough. I don't care that you own your home outright because you're living in your home. You do not have enough money in retirement to keep everything going when you're no longer working in the way that I would want you to do. So nuts is right. I loved your reaction, though. Ron, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. First of all, I want to start off, my wife and I really and thoroughly enjoy your show.
Thank you, sweetheart. What do you want to buy?
Well, it sounds crazy. We'd like to leave our jobs, take a gap year, throw on a couple backpacks, and travel the world. My wife and I got married really young at 18 and 19, had 4 incredible kids. We put ourselves through college, all the while working. We paid for 4 kids' college educations. We paid for a wedding. We've been prudent savers, never been afraid of hard work. We've always lived below our means. And we feel like we've always done the right thing.
All right, so to travel with, you said throw 2 backpacks on you, $135,000 is a lot for a year of travel. That's more than backpacks, right, boyfriend?
That includes $60,000 of re-entry.
Of re-entry, so when you come back. And will you be able to come back to the jobs that you currently have?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Show me the money.
We have a combined income of $16,240.
All right.
Expenses of $15,404. Monthly expenses of $8,104. A monthly rent of $2,300. We have savings of $5,000 a month that we put away. We have debt of $153,000 at a 30-year fix. We have savings of $111,000 liquid. We have $460,000 in investments and $990,000 in retirement.
And how are you going to pay for this?
We're going to pay for it with liquid savings. By the time we're ready to travel next spring, we'll have enough. We'll have the $135 saved.
All right, so denied. Ron, I'm asking you to please listen to me. If you were 31 years of age with this kind of money, I would say, all right, go for it. But you've got two things going against you. You're 51 right now. When you come back, you'll be 52 or 53. We don't know if the job market is at all going to be better when you do that. This is not the time to leave a job that is giving you $16,000 a month. Are you kidding me? You don't have enough money. This is not the time. I'm 61. Life is still great. You can go anywhere you want to go. You have at least 10 years or more. Don't do it, boyfriend. It will be the biggest mistake you have ever made. Rhonda, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I would like to purchase 2 VIP tickets to Austin City Limits for $2,100 to take my husband and I on our first weekend getaway after having our daughter 5 years ago, and to relieve some stress after moving back to the States from being overseas for 3 years.
And what were you doing overseas?
We were stationed over there.
So you were in the military, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and were you in the sandbox?
Yeah, we were a few times.
You were, so you actually saw combat, and you've really been through it, and this is something that would make your heart sing, is that right?
Oh, definitely, for sure.
All right, show me the money.
Okay, for combined income, we have $8,651 per month. Our expenses are $5,986, including rent. For debt, we have $28,000 on a car loan at 2.8%, $2,800 on credit card debt at 11%. Our savings is $21,000 in liquid, $12,000 in investments, and $67,000 in retirement.
So, and where are you going to get the $2,100 from?
From our liquid savings.
But that money could go to pay off your credit card debt at 11%, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It could. I love you, therefore you are denied. It's killing me that I have to deny you. But I wouldn't be helping you just because, and I want to be able to say you served our country. You saw things nobody else probably in their lives would have ever wanted to see. You deserve this. But what you deserve more than that is you deserve to stand in your truth and do what's right versus what's easy. And girlfriend, you just can't afford it. Ugh. Liz, what do you want to buy?
Hi, Susie. I want to buy a new living room furniture set.
You do for $2,000. That's pretty good. All the furniture I'm looking at there, is that everything you would get?
Yes.
Yeah,
we want the couch and a chair, and if they have any other items that go with this set, we'd probably get those as well.
So you might spend more than $2,000.
No more than $2,000.
No more, all right. How come you need a new living room set?
Well, we have a really rundown set right now. It's the couch we sit on is falling apart, and I sometimes choose to just sit on the floor rather than on the couch because it's really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And we just moved into our new house, and we want it to look nice, and we want to invite friends over.
I knew it. You know, when you buy a house, all of a sudden, it's not just buying a home. You got to furnish the home. You got to have a nice car that's in the garage. You got to have nice silverware. Show me the money.
Okay, so we have $4,540 a month in income combined,
Great.
my fiance and me. Our expenses are $3,758.
Mm-hmm.
Our debt on our house is $111,000. My student loans are $28,000. We have $4,000 on my car, $3,000 for credit card debt. In savings, we have $4,605 saved up for our wedding. We have $150 in investments and $7,657 in retirement.
And how are you going to pay for this?
They have a 0% interest credit card at the store that we'd like to purchase it from.
Oh, and then you're just
it's
going to
40
pay it
months, no interest.
every month, right?
Yes.
Yeah, denied.
Yes.
Denied. Really, listen to me. This is how people get into trouble. You think it's not going to cost you anything because it's 0%. It does cost you. You have credit card debt. Why don't you take that extra money and put it towards your credit card debt? You say you're going to use all your savings as well for what your wedding. You don't need furniture. Sit on the floor. That's what I would tell you. Want to be part of the Can I Afford It segment? If you're chosen, we'll send you one of my new I Was Approved or I Was Denied by Suze Orman t-shirts. All you have to do is go to my website, SuzeOrman.com, and you will find the information that you need to know there to come and play with me right here. Next, I tackle trending topics in Ask Suze. I do not like private student loans. I never have. I never will. Why don't I like private student loans? Welcome back, everybody. Do you know where I am? Does this place look familiar to you? Well, it should by now. I'm in the control room at CNBC headquarters. So many ways that you can come and play with me here on the Suze Orman Show. Take a look at your screen, please. You can join me on Facebook. You can email us. You can even send in a tweet. And if you do, if you put in hashtag Ask Suze, it comes to us. If we choose it, you will be on the air. Let's see what's trending right now. All right, La Bella Rosa. I've been admitted to a great college but can't afford it. I've exhausted federal loans. Should I get a private student loan? Oh boy, La Bella Rosa, listen, I wish you had told me, what do you want to be? Are you going to be a doctor? Are you going to be a lawyer? What are you going to be? I do not like private student loans. I never have. I never will. Why don't I like private student loans? Because the interest rate can go as high, really, as they want it to go, into the teens if they so choose. They're protected by the government, believe it or not, where you cannot bankrupt them. So I just don't like them. You started this tweet by saying, I can't afford it. I'm so glad that you were admitted into a great school, but if you cannot afford it, don't do it. You would be far better off, in my opinion, going to a lesser school that cost you less so you weren't in as much debt so that you would feel better in the long run. I wouldn't be going to the school that you can't afford. Let's see what else is trending. Oh, student loans are on everybody's minds right now, I see, from David Sheffer. Should I open more federal student loans to pay off a higher rate private student loan? You betcha you should, boyfriend, since, again, both private and federal loans are protected. And you cannot, in most cases, discharge either one of them. In bankruptcy, of course, always go for the lower interest rate one. And on federal loans, your interest rate is fixed. On private loans, the interest rates can go to wherever the company wants to take them, again, into the teens. So I think that is a grand idea. Let's go to our webcam now. We have Carrie coming to us from Illinois. Girlfriend, ask me your question.
Hi, Suze. I'm a 32-year-old single mom. I make about $33,000 a year, and I'm looking to go to medical school. My original plan was to go back in 2 years. However, that'll put me 1 year away from being vested in my pension plan. So my question is, should I put off medical school for 1 more year in order to get vested?
All right, so let me get this clear. If you go back in 2 years, you do not and will not get a pension later on in life from wherever you're working. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
If you work 1 more year, you will get a pension. And how much will that pension be per month, approximately?
If I collect it as soon as I'm eligible at age 55, it'd be about $670 a month.
But what happens if you waited until like you're 67 to do so?
It'd go up about $1,000, I think. I believe if I collected at 65, it'd be about $1,600 a
All
month.
right, girlfriend, you have to work that other year because this is how you would figure it. Let's just say it's $1,500 a month, which is $18,000 a year. How much would you have to have in an account somewhere to generate for you $18,000 a year? You would have to have about $400,000 to $500,000 to give you that type of income at 4 or 5%. So if you work just one more year, that's like somebody giving you $400,000 later on in life to generate income for you forever. Girlfriend, that's a big salary for 1 year. You're going to stay right there. Do you hear me, single mom? Oh,
All right.
good. Good. Now, let's go back to the studio, and here's what's coming up next. Joyce wants to know, Susie,
how am I doing? My goal at 65 is to retire and move to sunny California and live within a very short bus ride to the ocean.
I think California, with what it costs, especially if you want to live near the ocean, may be unrealistic. Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show.
Hi, Susie. I'm 41 years old and single. I grew up with very little, and now I make a great salary. My fear is ending up like my mother, who financially at 65 only has Social Security and needs to work. My goal at 65 is to retire and move to sunny California and live within a very short bus ride to the ocean. Susie, how am I doing?
Joyce, girlfriend, welcome to the Suze Orman Show.
Thank you, Susie. I'm very happy to speak with you.
So I have so much to say to you, but before I tell you anything about what I think, I need to know what you think. If you were going to give yourself a grade, will you be able to retire at 65 doing exactly what you're doing right now and move to California? What grade would you give yourself?
I would give myself a C.
A C, all right. Let's see what I'm going to give you, but first, let's see your finances. Joyce, you told everybody that you were 41 and single. Currently, you have retirement of $141,504. You have $21,000 in your emergency fund, $14,000 in investments. Your home and condo, you have two of these things, are worth $287,000 currently. However, bad news, you are underwater in these things, and you owe $331,666 combined on those two properties, leaving you with $463,000 total assets, $331,000 is total debt, with a net worth of $131,838 at the age of 41. Does that surprise you?
No, it does not.
All right, so you knew those numbers. Even knowing those numbers, you thought that you would then be able to, saving what you're saving, spending what you're spending, make it to California, right?
No, probably not, Susie. That's why I wanted to reach out for some advice and assistance.
You got it, Joyce. But before we do this, let's just show everybody your income versus your expenses and what you are currently saving right now. You do have after-tax income of $6,154. Fabulous. Your monthly expenses are $4,979, and you do save $700 a month. You're putting that into your emergency fund right now, but you still should have an excess of $475 a month according to your expense sheet. Does anything there surprise you?
No, that sounds right.
All right. Here's the grade that I would give you. I would give you a D-.
Okay.
Possibly even an F. I know, so sorry about that. Don't worry. But
Okay.
The reason I would do that, just very briefly, without going into great detail there, is that number one, you are underwater in your homes. You don't have a will. You don't have a trust. You're spending almost $700 a month on clothes, and California is a state that is a high-income state tax bracket, and I think California, with what it costs, especially if you want to live near the ocean, may be unrealistic. So let's see your way to an A. Are you ready to do everything that I say to make your dreams a realistic reality?
Yes, absolutely.
All right.
I'm all ears.
All right. You currently have a home that is underwater that you don't like living in because you thought it would be fun to live in the suburbs, but you're just finding it boring. Girlfriend, stop being bored. You are going to stay in that home. And you're going to stay in that home for a while, and you're going to try to refinance that home, number one, to get your expenses down. And if you can, so that you have more money freed up to save for your future. At 41, you might enjoy this and maybe add a little spice to your life in that home. Can you try to get a roommate? Just something to think about so that you actually can get more money coming in. Number two, you are going to stop shopping. You are going to save at least $500 a month of the almost $700 a month. I'll let you shop a little, $200. That's it. But you're going to take that $400 to $500 a month that you were wasting on shopping, and you are going to open up a non-deductible IRA, because you make too much money really for a Roth IRA, but then you are going to convert that to a Roth. You are going to start that right away. Do you hear me? Now, currently, you are putting $700 a month towards your emergency fund. After you have $40,000 in your emergency fund, that's another just $20,000 about. You're going to take that $700 that you were saving, and you are going to start to invest it for your future. Rather than retiring at 65, I would like you to postpone it till 67, and I'd like you to consider this. Rather than going to California, where it is very expensive, if you want to be near the ocean, if you want to be in great weather, why don't you do what I did? Why don't you move to someplace like Florida? Florida is a tax-free state. If you did all that, can you make your dreams come true? If you follow my plan, you can. Up next, one more thing that I want you to know. When you stand in your truth and you tell others what's true about you, it helps them stand in their truth. Welcome back to the Suze Orman Show. Well, everybody, that's almost a wrap here on the Suze Orman Show. But before we go, there is still one more thing that I would like you to know. I started tonight's show talking about giving when we don't have the money to give, pretending that we're being generous to others, and talking about true generosity, which is always standing in your truth and telling people what's true about you. And during the show tonight, we had Dennis on, and I talked to him about being able to stand in his truth and letting his family and friends know that he doesn't have money. So it brings me to what I want to say, is that the most generous thing you could ever do for yourself in life isn't what you can buy yourself, isn't what you can buy others, but the most generous action, the most compassionate action you'll ever take is simply standing in your own truth. Do you understand that when you stand in your truth and you tell others what's true about you, whether it's your sexuality, whether it's about your finances, whatever it is, you just come from that place of total truth. It helps them stand in their truth. And then all of a sudden, we transform this world from a world that pretends to have more, pretends to be in love, pretends this, pretends that, to a world that's honest and truthful. So at the beginning of this holiday season now, let's all vow to stand in our truth, no matter what it's about. Let's stand in our truth from this second forward. Now you know. And until next week, there's really only one thing that I want you to remember when it comes to your money, and it is this: people first, then money, then things. Now you stay truthful. Bye-bye.